Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be making a delicious, heavy fruitcake. Remember, for all the ingredients and measurements, it will be listed down below in the description box. Now here is what you will need for the first step. Now here are some ingredients you will need. In my plate, I have some golden raisin, some black raisins, cherries, and here I have some pineapple, some sweetened pineapple. I also have some prunes, and in this little container I have my sugar and 1 stick of cinnamon. I have here some red wine and 1 stick of butter. Now if you can't find the sweetened pineapple, you can switch it out for any one of the other fruits you have. Now before I show you what else you need, we are going to go ahead and start the process of making our fruits. Now to my pan, I'm going to go in with 1 stick of butter. My stove is on medium-low heat. We're then going to allow the butter to be melted completely. Once the butter is melted, you're going to then allow it to cook for a few minutes until the color changes into a light brown color. Once the color changes, you are then going to go in with your sugar. Now, after adding the sugar to your butter, you're going to allow that to cook on low heat. You want to pay close attention so that it doesn't burn. And one advice I can give you is try not to skip this step. After using this method, you are not going to go back to any other method. Browning the sugar and the butter will give your cake a nice flavor, a nice caramel flavored. And I'm 100% sure you guys are going to love it this way. Now, after cooking for a few minutes, you will notice that the sugar have some fine bubble rising in it, like so. Once you see those fine bubbles, it's a good indication that you are ready to add your wine. You want to go in with your wine gently, try not to burn yourself. You also don't want to wait too long to add the wine, otherwise the sugar will burn and you will have to redo this entire step. Now, after adding the wine, you will notice that the sugar becomes like a candy texture. Don't worry about it, it will cook and dissolve in its own time. Now go in with all your fruits and we are going to allow that to cook on low heat until all the wine evaporates. You want to make sure that you stir it so that everything is nicely coated with the wine and the sugar. Now we're going to cover this and allow it to cook for a few minutes. You want to cook it until there's no more liquid in the pot. Now here is a look after all the liquid dries out. Now what you're going to do is turn your stove off and allow this to come down back to room temperature. You don't want to add this to the cake while it is still hot. So you want to make sure that it is down to room temperature before you use it. Now while our fruits is cooling down, here's what you will need for the next step. Here I have 1 stick of butter. I have some walnuts, my eggs, I have some light brown sugar, my all-purpose flour, and in this little container I have some allspice, cinnamon spice, and nutmeg. Here I have some mixed essence and my baking powder. Now to a large mixing bowl, I'm going to go in with my butter. Remember, all your ingredients must be at room temperature when baking. After adding in my butter, I'm going to go in with my sugar. Today I will be using a hand mixer. You can use a stand mixer for this step as well. After adding in my butter and my sugar, I'm going to mix it until the butter and the sugar is combined and evenly distributed. Once everything is nicely distributed, I'm going to go in with my essence, followed by my eggs. I am then going to add my eggs a little bit at a time until it is nicely distributed and evenly combined. Now after all the eggs are added, this is how it should be looking. Now we're going to go in with our spices. You want to give that a good stir to make sure that everything is nicely incorporated. Now after adding the spice, you're going to go in with your fruits. And just a reminder, your fruits should be back down to room temperature and cold enough to add to the batter. After adding the fruits to the mixture, you're going to then mix to make sure it's nicely distributed. After everything is nicely distributed, we are going to go in with our walnuts. After adding the walnuts, it's time to combine the flour and the baking powder. Now you want to whisk them together to make sure that the baking powder is evenly distributed within the flour. After that is nicely distributed, you're going to go in with about half of the flour. You're going to then mix to make sure that is combined. Then you're going to add in the second half. After adding in the second half of the flour, you are going to mix to make sure that all the dry flour is evenly distributed within the batter. Today I'll be using a 9-inch springform pan, which I'm going to be lining with a piece of parchment paper. Now after lining the pan, I'm going to go in with some cooking spray and I'm going to spray the bottom and the sides of the pan. I'm then going to continue lining the sides of the pan to avoid the side of the cake from getting too dark. Now after adding the parchment paper, you're going to go in with some more of the cooking spray and brush the side of the pan. You want to make sure the entire pan is coated evenly with the cooking spray. Now you're going to go in with some dry flour. Once you add the dry flour, then you're going to just rotate the pan around to make sure that the flour is coated evenly on the bottom and on the sides of the pan. Now that our pan is nicely prepared, we're going to add the batter to the pan. This batter will only give you one 9-inch cake. If you would like to have more than one, all you have to do is double or triple the ingredients depending on how much cake you want. Now go ahead and preheat your oven to 325 degrees. You also want to add a water bath to the oven. Since our cake is going to be baking for such a long time, not adding the water bath will cause the cake to dry out while it's baking. Now that you've added the batter to the pan, you want to go in with your spatula and just smooth it out so the cake is nice and level. Now you're going to go ahead and cover the top of the pan with a piece of foil paper. Because our cake is going to be baking for such a long time, we don't want the top to be extremely dark or even burn on the top. Now you want to place the cake in the oven and you want to bake it for 1 hour and 25 minutes covered. After an hour and 25 minutes, you are then going to remove the foil paper and bake it again for 1 hour and 25 minutes. My cake took 2 hours and 50 minutes to bake. Remember, depending on your oven, yours may take a little bit longer or it may finish faster. After the last 25 minutes, you can check on your cake. Insert a skewer every now and then to make sure that the cake is cooked. Once you insert your skewer and it comes out clean, you know that the cake is completely cooked. Now after baking for 2 hours and 50 minutes, I remove my cake from the oven and this is how delicious it's looking. It smells amazing with all the spices and everything in there. It smells so amazing, guys. So now that the cake cooled down, we're going to remove the pan and see how it's looking. Now you will not be able to get the cake to come out lighter than this, just so you know. Now I'm going to cut into this and I want to show you guys how it's looking on the inside. Now after my cake cooled down a bit, guys, it's not even that cool. I just had to cut into the cake because of the smell in the kitchen. Oh my God, I couldn't wait. I have no patience. Anyway, look at how delicious this cake is looking on the inside. Look at all that fruits, and you can see from the video how moist and delicious this cake is looking. Look at all the fruits in there. Tell me if this is not to die for. It's smelling amazing. It's smelling so, so good. Look at how moist it is on the outside. So if you're looking for a delicious, heavy fruitcake recipe, this is the one for you. I do hope you give it a try and let me know how it came out for you. Now that brings us to the end of today's video. I do hope you enjoy watching this video as much as I enjoy making it for you all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet subscribed for more delicious recipe. As usual, I want to say thank you for watching, goodbye, and I will see you in my next video.